I believe it's the 10th of December. Guys, it's 17 degrees outside and I just came in from it. If my hair looks a little bit oily, I'm going to tell you how, at the end of this video, not to change oil in a generator. I'm in the high desert of Arizona, my friends. Guys, the world is going crazier every day. Right now, Russian forces in Syria appear to be trapped, surrounded by this rebel force called HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, I believe is the name of it. It's headed by this guy who has a $10 million bounty on his head from our U.S. State Department, even though the President Biden is kind of taking credit for somewhat for their winning. But anyway, guys, so things are crazy. So think about this. The all right, Nanny and Stan, why y'all up so late? Anyway, that's the same with me, right? Things are nuts. I mean, if we look at this, what's his name? Abu Muhammad al-Jolani, I believe is the way. Pretty close to how you say his name. He was connected with ISIS. He actually fought American forces in Iraq. He's the kind of guys that we're over there sponsoring because we've been after al-Assad for a long time. As you probably well know now, the al-Assad regime has fallen. Al-Assad, the former president of Syria, has taken refuge in Russia, and the Russian forces that have not yet got out of Syria appear, for the most part, to be surrounded by forces that are hostile to them. Some of them got behind the mountains over toward the sea. Apparently, the Russian ships left the Russian base Tartus. What does all this mean for the world and for war, for Putin? It means more instability. Hey, Grant McIntosh, good morning to you. How you doing? Sasquatch Man, howdy. The real McCoy, good to see you guys in here in this early hour. So, guys, what this means is that the world's getting even more unstable. And my kitty is here in my lap, so pardon me, guys. Yeah, he's stayed outside the past couple of nights, but it's getting cooler tonight, and there are a lot of coyotes out. Probably want a nice warm meal tonight. So, anyway, guys, here's the deal. This has been a big blow to Russia. You know, Russian forces went into Syria in about 2015 to secure al-Assad, who was their ally, and they got this naval base. The only Mediterranean naval base the Russians had was Tartus. It was the really only base that was just open and not impeded by other forces in the warm waters. So, for example, Russian bases are contained either by the environment of the Arctic Ocean, or they're in the Baltic Sea, which is pretty much now NATO pond, with the Nordic nations going NATO, and the Sea of Japan. And Japan, of course, isn't necessarily friendly to Russia. They've had wars long before the current era, and they have still hostilities against each other. Russia is occupying lands that Japan claims, and they're just, you know, of course, Japan is allied with the United States and pretty much the NATO powers in the world. You know, they're not a member of NATO. Michelle, how you doing? So we got a lot of people coming here at this crazy early morning. Yeah, you love the kitty? Yeah, we gotta keep the kitty protected. This is Freddy Cat, by the way. See Freddy Cat? Oh yeah, guys, like I was said in the beginning of this video, if my hair looks a little greasy, it's actually technically Pennzoil 5W30. I'm gonna tell you in a little bit how not to change oil in a generator. That's what I just came up and done a little bit ago, and it's 17 degrees outside, so it's a bit chilly here right now. It's supposed to get down to 12 tonight and 9 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow night. Arizona is cold, at least up in this part. So anyway, guys, let's get back into this Russian thing. So ever since Peter the Great founded the Russian Navy in 69, the Russians have been seeking, by diplomacy and other means, warm water ports that they have unimpeded access to the ocean. This is what they use to secure their trade, to protect their ships, and to project war if they deem necessary. And the capability to do this is considered a strategic asset to Russia. Well, right now, Russian bases are in the Black Sea, which is warm water, but they're contained, and Turkey presently will not allow Russian forces to go through the Strait of Bosphorus. As you know, there's a long, narrow strait between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. And even if suddenly Turkey got real friendly and chummy with Russia and allied 100% with them, NATO could easily take out anything in that long, narrow strait. And if somebody wanted to take out ships in that strait, it would be all too easy, about shooting fish in a bucket. So it's just too easy to take that out, guys. So Russia has no access from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. As a matter of fact, their ships that were at the Syrian base at Tartus could not go back home. They were kind of sort of stranded there. I don't know where they went. They've left. They'll probably try to get out of the Strait of Gibraltar and maybe back up into the bases in the Baltic. It's getting a little chilly probably to go to the Arctic Sea bases. But in any event, so Murmansk, how do you say that? Murmansk? The bases up in northern Russia up there just east of Sweden. Anyway, guys, so that's what we're dealing with. Guys, New Day's in the house. All right, well, howdy. I'm not seeing everybody in here. All right, well, we got a lot of people in here. All right, ready for this crazy hour. 93. We're good to see y'all. Could use a few more thumbs up, guys. Help me out here. So, back to this whole thing. This means Putin is getting more desperate. His strategic options have been limited. The other warm water base that they really enjoy, which is contained somewhat now, was the Crimea. And Crimea has been heavily attacked by Western supplied arms and drones developed in Ukraine, and Russia's withdrew, and the drone ships that the Ukrainians come up with. So Russia withdrew a lot of their navy from Crimea and rebased, I forget the name of the port, but it's on the eastern side of the Black Sea. Well, they also have access, we got Chimkek Peninsula coming off Siberia, and they got naval bases there, quite a bit. But they're somewhat contained by the so-called First Island chain, just like the Chinese ships are, and that Japan, it's the Sea of Japan they got to go through. And Japan is somewhat, as I said, less than friendly to Moscow. So, and then there's the Arctic Ocean, which impedes passage this time of year. So, Russia is a bit, for one, Putin is probably embarrassed by the loss of, come on, kitty. Cat's getting out of control here. I let him stay outside the past couple of nights because he actually wanted outside, but tonight, I guess he's happy to be in here. It's cold out there. Anyway, so, what's this? The Latin American official. Greetings from Chicago. Well, hey, from Chicago. Yes, I'm contained, just getting thrown off by the confusion. Oh, all right, so yeah, we got a lot of confusion in the world right now, guys. So, there's something leaning forward with the cat ain't all in the video. Cat's all over me right now. This is Freddy Cat, by the way. So, all right, cat, calm down. Jeez, boy. So, anyway, guys, we're in a situation where Putin being more, I don't want you going over, cat. Down my bed area. So, Putin being more contained now makes him probably edgier. This may make him more likely to resort to the nuclear option in Ukraine and elsewhere, because now his reputation is more at stake. Things don't look so good to him given what's happened in Syria. There's another lesson with this thing with Syria. Syria government, was backed with heavier assets than the rebels. And the fact that rebel forces could take over Syria as fast as they did, so the fact that Americans got ran out of Afghanistan by just a bunch of guys with AKs, it invalidates Biden's point, about AR-15s versus F-15s. And, you know, Biden goes, well, what can you do with the AR-15? To take on the government, you got to have an F-15. No, you don't. And matter of fact, the problem with big sophisticated weapons is that they require a very sophisticated supply chain with lots of vulnerable nodes in it. And that's what always non-conventional warfare goes after. And any war that's not so civil here in the United States would definitely be one going after supply chains and nodes and things like that. So guys, forget that, you know. That's ludicrous. Look how the Vietnamese with primitive weapons bested us in the Vietnam War. And, you know, so it's got a lot to do with how many people are fed up with what's going on. Whether it be right or wrong, I'm not taking any sides here. I'm just telling you guys that you know, these very expensive weapon systems have certain advantages, but those advantages are usually short-lived. Let's go to China now. If we get into war with China, which is looking even increasingly likely, the situation is that we've only got armaments now said to last for a few days. A few days, guys. And we just had a 10-hour battle between an American warship and the Houthis. And we're just expending our ammo that would probably be better used against China, because it just never ends. Ever since this whole thing started, I told you guys way back, over a year ago, I said we're just playing whack-a-mole with the Houthis, and it's going to be whack-a-mole from here on out. And indeed, it's whack-a-mole, and we're still playing it. And we whack them, and then they move around and hit us, and then we whack them again. It's a never-ended stupid situation. Raspberry. You and your kitty look nice and warm, and it's only 17. Yeah, well, I've got a generator running outside, and I got a little electric heater in here that's helping out. So I can do a little. So this will give me some advantage as long as this electric heater works. I can't turn this video around. There we go. So my electric heater. And that's being run by a generator right now. The generator quits, then it's going to be really cold in here. My best sleeping bag I bought for my bigger van, I call Candy, the white van, really won't fit in my little Coleman cot here. It's too big. And that's the one that can handle the cold weather without so much heat added. In fact, when I was in that van, I did run a smaller generator. It would not support a heater that big, but it would still freeze inside the van at night out here. I mean, I would have thick frost on the inside of the windows when I wake up in the morning. I haven't had that with this larger heater, but it still gets cold. And it will get cold a bit later in the night. So, hey, Human Nurse Prepper. Good to see you. I'll check the messages here in a minute. I don't want to be in here too long, guys. Wow, it's amazing. We got 117 people in the crazy early hours here. I don't need to be here too long, because I got to get up early and work tomorrow. And I got to keep my wits about me. I am able to brew coffee now. So my tiny home, we're working on wiring it, but I'm still running cables in from my generators. It's closed in now. There's still a few windows to add. There's a big front door that's still open. I mean, I got a piece of plywood slid across it, but not entirely. You know, still a big gap there. So it's not ready to move into or live in, but I have a microwave oven in it. I have just a tiny one, because you got to be mindful of power out here, especially when it goes solar. People on solar don't use microwaves or electric coffee makers, and I got one of each. Because last fall when I was there trying to use a percolator, it just requires more cleanup. You ain't got no running water out here. And when you got to clean stuff up, you don't have running water. That's a problem. Like, I need to clean me up, because I'm wearing Pennzoil 5W30 right now. It's all in my hair and beard. Like I said, I'll tell you that story here in a minute. Pennzoil, you know. A little dabba-do ya. Dabba-dabba-do. If y'all remember the old commercials. Anyway, guys, back to war. You know, I'm not a fan of fighting. I'm not a fan of war. I'm against war. But you have to defend yourself. So the best advice on that is don't start anything like that. If you can avoid it, try not to fight. But when you absolutely have to get in the fight, fight like you're the third monkey on the ramp to Noah's Ark, and brother, it's starting to rain. That's about where we're at. Brother, it's starting to rain. Guys, like I said, it's getting crazy. So back to China. China is right. I was buffering. I shouldn't be buffering. I was supposed to be on a Starlink Wi-Fi. Sorry about that, guys. Hope the video's clear. So, Wormageddon. Yeah, that's about right, Rick. Wormageddon. So, good morning. Waiting for wages. World. Good morning, Ray. Anyway, so guys, let's think about this. Would China do anything when Trump's president? Trump's not president yet. They might make a big move before Trump does get elected. Two, Trump likes to be tough, and America's typically pretty strong. But when we're limited to a few days of ammunition, China might just ignore it. Okay, come on, bring it on. Because we'll outlast you, because they can outproduce us right now. China can absolutely, not only are we low on supplies, we're low on production rate. China outproduces us in these areas. They have been getting everything in this area. All your cheap junk you buy at the stores that comes from China has financed this. And so you maybe think your stuff's cheap, but no, your defense budget is that part of the other way you got to pay for it, and you may pay for it again by losing a war to China. So that stuff ain't cheap. It just seems cheap. My dad told me when he was a kid in high school that him and his buddies liked to scrap iron, pick up scrap iron and get good money from him. He said their science teacher got him aside one day. He says, "Boys, y'all need to stop scrapping this iron." He said, one of these days, that this is all going to Japan. He said, it's all going to Japan. One of these days, the Japanese are going to shoot it right back at you. And he said, when World War II started, he thought about that a whole lot, what that science teacher told him. Yeah, they had science teachers in the 20s, in the 30s. Yeah, when my dad was in high school in the 30s, sure enough. And Podunk, rural Alabama. I think he got a better education than most kids do today by a long shot. 17 degrees, dang, that's really tough. Be careful. All right, Rick, I'm working on it. If that generator was to die, that's one of these. I was out there changing oil in it. I could be in a pickle out here. Because I ain't really, my best sleeping bag really won't fit on this little cot I got in this van. I cleaned up the other van enough to sleep in it again. Because somebody working before left the hood unlatched and rats got in it and made a mess. I got to finish cleaning it up. There are challenges in desert life. There are definitely some challenges. But I think it's worth it. And there's a reason I'm out here. There's a reason I'm doing this. And it's the state of the world. I take it serious. I put all my effort where my mouth is. I've been warning you guys for a long time about what we're facing. And I'm doing something about it the best I can. I'm relocating to a remote area. Far more remote. And much farther away from nuclear power plants, so there's spent fuel rod pools I've talked to you a lot about in previous videos. Now, for those that don't know, you search my channel, there's a playlist. And I discovered I can't find playlists on YouTube channels on the phone. I keep telling you guys this, but it's best to find it on the computer. You can search for nuclear survival. That's some of the best nuclear survival videos you've ever seen. So check that out, guys. Norway, hey Norway, good to see you. All right, so enjoy while you're out. Okay, so China may well make the move, and they might make a move before Trump becomes president, before he's sworn in. It would probably be a blockade, because this isn't the best time to actually invade. It would probably, and it's always thought that they would blockade first, then maybe soften their target with missiles, and then they actually would want to invade either in the months of like April or October. That's when the sea states are best. It's a big challenge to do a sea landing across 100-mile strait into Taiwan. It was a lot of logistics for American and British forces, allies back in World War II, to make the landing. They used a lot of deception to be able to go into Normandy. The Chinese won't be able to use a lot of deception because Taiwan's kind of small compared to the European coastline. So it's going to be pretty obvious if they're coming here or there. So they've got challenges to actually make a true invasion if they decide to do that. But they have their anti-access aerial denial missile systems to keep a lot of our ships and aircraft carriers at a good long arms distance. I've also discussed this in some good detail in previous videos talking about war with China. No point in replowing the same ground. David Stewart, how you doing? Halo Vector, halo y'all. Unknown Vector, halo, yeah, halo. Yeah, cats. How you doing there, Klumbukdek 9? Hope I said that right. Anyway, guys, so, yeah, we'll talk about something else here in a minute, too. So, this is all concerning. Now, one indicator that China might be about to move, possibly, could be all these UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, UFOs, drones, whatever you want to call them, that are flying all over U.S. bases, that are flying all over New Jersey now, and Staten Island, I think. They're flying over U.S. military bases, particularly in England. We're talking big drones. We're talking drones 15-foot long, ginormous drones. It's not the kind you're going to go in some store and buy. These are not amateur drones. And there's even rumors of an F-16 chasing one and it outmaneuvering and getting away. This is not, now that might be a totally different object, but this isn't your typical drone technology. And it just seems to just keep showing up. Why is it we can't stop them? Do we not have the ability to take them out? There have been some reports of a crash of something. I don't know the details of it. A lot of people are speculating that it's the UFOs from somewhere else, or somewhere else, or some dimension else. I don't know. Hey, we got a super chat. Thank you, Christopher. Wishing you the best from Houston, Texas. Have coffee on me. All right, roll day. Salute to you, Christopher. Thank you, sir, for our super chat. I've had a little bit, other than Michelle and Kim Possible, who come in on my PayPal and give me some donations when I go live a lot. So, and they did that recently. Salute to them for that. Johnny Quinn, somebody's behind you. Got a cat here with me. Oh, you're probably seeing reflections from my. Oh, reflections from my light there in front and the window behind. There is. Yeah, I got a light on from my house right now. My little house building. Just cause I saw some, about the second night I was down there, somebody came in because my gate was open. They got to the top of the hill of my place and turned around. I saw their tracks. Well, yeah, all right, so I'll throw this light on. It might discourage them from coming further down right now until I get the place better secured. I don't like lights on it now. I really don't. I kind of don't like that at all. So on our own government SOPs, who knows what these drones are, guys? But see, here's it. Here's the thing about these drones. Drones can be formidable weapons. You know, the Ukrainians have used them quite a bit. Russians use them to attack the other side. The fact that they can have such free-willing access to our nuclear bases is frightening. Our military bases. They've been hovering over B-52s, F-35s, F-16s. They've also went into the military barracks areas as they've threatened the actual soldiers, particularly the on-post housing of officers, commissioned and non-commissioned, I suppose. So this is seen as a threat. What it is, we don't know. But it's not likely Russia, because Russia is so preoccupied with the war in Ukraine, they're not likely to be doing this at this point in time. Although it's not impossible. It's most likely China. And this may mean that China is getting ready to make a move. As we know, and here's what you got to worry about with China. China has hacked everything we've got. They've hacked our phone systems. They've hacked our computers. They've hacked our defense computers. They've hacked our logistics. They've hacked our power, our water. Push of a button, China could take everything down, even without an EMP. They've got the capability to do EMP. They've got EMP super weapon technology. They got their balloons. I've done a video on how they can use their balloons in warfare against America far more effectively than anyone had ever imagined. I covered that. I'm the first person to cover that. In fact, my paper on that got briefed to both the House and Senate Homeland Security Committees. Mark Green and these guys that you guys hear a lot about. So, there you have it, guys. It's a threat. It's a real threat. The fact that we're seeing all these drones right now may indicate something's about to happen. There is a chemical mass-produced in China Just a tiny little drop. If you get touched, one droplet on you, you're going to be pushing daisies. It could be sprayed aerosol from these drones, just like the crop sprayers. And these drones are bigger than the crop spraying drones. So guys, we're talking basically mass destruction from drone technology. Drone technology is changing the shape of warfare, and it may have a few tricks up its sleeves that we're yet to see, and hopefully we never will. But when you consider that we're low on ammo, that we're massively hacked, that these drones are over our bases, they may be able to limit any response that we try to mount, if they're Chinese. If they're aliens, who knows what they want to do? From my own analysis of the situation, what most people refer to as aliens, I would call demons. The phenomenology more fits the phenomenology of demons as we've known them historically throughout our time. We can talk about that more in the future. But guys, so small science. And hey, Lilith, you talking about the drones? 15 foot's a big drone. They can do a lot of damage, especially when you put them over our strategic assets. Hey, Tim, how you doing? Like our nuclear bombers, our missile bases. Who knows what to do? Because our missiles are deep in the ground. But if you were to hit one as it's on ascent right as it comes out of the silo, they're not moving as fast right after they first come out because they're still trying to get they got to burn a little bit more fuel to get the thrust going. So you've seen a lot. Some rockets can, if the thrust to weight ratio is very high, then rockets take off like a banshee. Pew! You see that with some Estes rockets. But typically your bigger rockets, that's not the case. If you ever watched the space shuttle take off or SLS take off, a lot of big rockets, they take off slow at first. And that's true of all your ICBMs too. So that's a window of vulnerability if somebody is nearby. So if they can take out our comm systems through EMP, through hacking, through direct attack on, well, we've got basically 3 of those very low frequency transmitters that can transmit to our submarines. Without the emergency action messages, our submarines cannot fire their nukes. Like, oh, we got submarines, don't worry, we got submarines here. So much. Ha! That's funny. Because there's too many ways to take that out too, guys. And a lot of you just aren't aware of what the enemy is aware of. If they can put drones over a military base, you think they couldn't go in and take out 3 comm towers? One's in Maine, close to New Days. One is in Hawaii, and one is I think Washington State. Everybody knows where they're at, exactly where they're at, including our adversaries, and they know how strategically important they are. You think they're just going to sit there and keep transmitting without any issues or problems? Give me a break. And we got those nuclear bombers, not bombers, we got our nuclear command centers called doomsday planes. They don't send out those kind of signals from those planes. They would signal to the towers, not directly to the submarines. So that's my understanding of the technology. All right, guys, I don't know what's been said in here, but New Days has got some good advice here, guys. We are a family channel. We keep our language clean in here. We don't use wordy dirds. So let's respect other people and do keep the language clear, please. Clean and clear. How can we defend against mass drone swarms? Basically MPs. Shotguns. Nets. Other drones that would attack the first drones. There's ways to do it, guys. And how do you defend yourself? The same ways. Go underground. I eventually plan to have some bunkers, but not at first. It takes time and money to build all that stuff. That's the hope. Legendary buddy man of Bradford. What's up, Greg? All right, so been talking here for a little bit now about the prospects for what it might mean to the world for war risk given the fall of Syria. We're talking about China invading Taiwan or perhaps hitting the Philippines. There's 2 real hot flashpoints, South China Sea and Taiwan. with regards to China. And I'm explaining how China could actually still pull it off right now and likely get away with it. Wheelchair user Green Graves could a B strike on a super volcano make it go off. There are some Russian strategists that's talked about hitting Yellowstone with a nuke. They've suggested that. So is it in their planning? Possibly. Possibly. So if Russia would plan that and they published it, don't that mean North Korea and China would do that? That would be a game changer. Maybe a country like North Korea don't have as many nukes as us. They couldn't cover as much stuff. But if they hit something like that, it could be a big game changer if it would set it off. I mean, basically, Yellowstone's got this huge cap of rock sitting on it. That's what keeps that chamber from erupting. And it's a lot thicker now as the continental plate slides over this hot spot, and it's getting to the heavier part of the Rocky Mountains. It may be why it's not gone off on schedule, supposedly. Like 70,000 years overdue. But these are averages. But theoretically, we're about 70,000 years, I think, past the average eruption rate of Yellowstone. And Yellowstone's been erupting ever since North America started crossing the hot spot. Snake River Valley and on up to where we're at today. Even the big flows of basalt that form the banks of the Columbia River before it goes into the Pacific Ocean, which I've crossed over, driving down the left coast many, many years ago when I was leaving Alaska in 1983. Observers will have laser technology for drones. Yeah, lasers are one way to deal with them, and I think they are developing a laser system. America is developing a laser system. But still, all that said, these drones still have apparently unimpeded access to our current military bases. This stuff, just because you got technology don't mean you have it fielded in quantity to make it practical in use. It's still developmental. We may have a couple fielded systems, but we don't have things fielded in quantity. It's actually a problem with technology. It usually comes in smaller quantities. What's good is just plain old artillery shells, bullets. That's how wars are won. That's how groups like the Afghans can run Americans with superior weapons using little old AKs out of a nation. That's how the HTS group ran over Syria and even Russian forces in a blitzkrieg. And this shows the invalidity of Biden's discussion. When somebody mentioned the AR-15s or to defend ourselves from the government, he says, you need an AR-15 ain't going to work, you need an F-15. Oh yeah, hey, another thing, guys. What's her name? Congress lady, senator from Iowa, who was the first opposing Hegseth being the Secretary of Defense. What's her name? It's Joni. Come on, guys, help me out. Joni. What's her name? Good brain lock. Joni. Oh shoot, I forget her name right now, guys. Maybe some of you guys know. Bullets, metal, gunpowder. There you go. What is her name? Joni. Oh shoot, I just saw a video of her back when she was a pup. Apparently now she's supporting Hedgepeth, but she was talked about as being just having lots of military knowledge and being a military expert because she was in the National Guard and Army Reserve. Apparently she actually did go to combat. She got the rank of lieutenant colonel. But what she was saying spoke of total military ignorance when she was opposing Hedgepeth. Joni Ernst. That's it. Thank you, unknown veteran. Joni Ernst. That's her name. Joni Ernst. Because she was talking about we should permit the deployment of MiGs. We should allow the Russians we should allow the Ukrainians to fly fly those MiGs. We shouldn't hold them back on the MiGs. We should let the MiGs go into deep Russia. If you know anything about military systems, you know she said this twice, not once, but twice. MiGs. I hope you guys know what a MiG is. A MiG is a fighter jet, but it's not an F-16, it's not an F-35, it's not what Ukraine is getting from us. It's Russian. MiGs are Russian. cat? What is it? What's got you meowing and looking outside? You know what? They're Russian. So she didn't know what text she was talking about. You know, she was being lauded. Yeah, I looked her up after I heard her talk. I said, what? I looked her up, and all this website was just lauding her military knowledge. I'm going, She's pretty darn dumb for a lieutenant colonel, in my opinion, on military matters. I knew what a MiG was before I went in the military. Jeez, Louise, give me a break. How can you not, Ernst, yeah, that's her. Joni Ernst is her name. So, stolen valor, sir, you accusing me of stolen valor? I never said I fought in combat. I said I was a veteran. I've been in the military. I was in the Army. I can show you my DD-214s. I went in the Army, and I went in the National Guard after I got out of the Army. I actually tried to stay in my unit at Fort Bragg, and I was reassigned to Alaska, which I loved Alaska, but I did try to stay in that unit. Had I stayed in that unit, they went to Grenada. Or are you talking about Joni having stolen valor? I don't know. I don't know what her situation is, but she's not the smart person she claims to be, or is claimed to be by many other websites. So if you're talking and you're briefing Congress, you're briefing the Senate, you're a senator who is a lieutenant colonel, and you don't know what a MiG is, you're stupid. You don't know jack diddle about military. I mean, that's just stupid. You gotta give me a break. I see you live from time to time. Well, thank you there. A Moldovan. Hey, we got Moldavia in the house, I guess. Oh, you're in California. Okay, are you from Moldavia, Christina? Billy, how you doing, Billy? Trolls in that cat. Alrighty, guys. Texas. Hey, Texas. Billy's from Texas. All right. Well, all my grandkids were born in Texas. None of my kids were, but all my grandkids were. That all live in Texas right now, but 2 out of 3 of them do. So, my kids, I got 3 kids, and each kid was born in a different state. North Carolina, Alaska, and Alabama. The last one. Anyway, yes, thank you, New Days, for asking folks to hit the thumbs up. We got 141 in the house, not so bad for something so late here, guys. So, bottom line is, Putin has got a black eye. Putin's reputation is damaged when you're a person, an autocrat, when you live on power and stay in power by projecting power. That makes you weaker. That also makes you more likely to be more reactionary. He's been very cautious and very measured in his reactions to all the pressure and red line crossing that we've put upon them. How long will that last? Now, his strategic options are far more limited than they were. That's going to have to factor into his decision matrix of what he decides to do or not do. And they've got troops caught in Syria. Will they actually make a move on Syria? And will they just extend that into Israel? Will this be the Magog war prophesied in Revelations? In Revelations, it's also prophesied that Damascus will be destroyed. Is that time coming? Has it got something to do with all these things going down? I don't know, guys. But these are things to keep an eye on. So, there is what's going on with China. Like I said, China might actually decide to do something. 2 signs to me that are indicated that activity might be imminent. One is this 90-ship armada they've started to drill around Taiwan. And 2 is the sudden increase in this drone activity around our existing military bases. I think these may be 2 indicators that China might be about to move. We know that we are, like I said, short on ammo. They're only a few days supply for fighting China, and we know they've hacked everything we got. They can bring everything down with a push of a button. Are you ready for that? So here's the question. Are you ready for that? What are you doing to get ready for that push of the button event? How are you preparing yourself? Get food, water, keep your gas tank full. Have a plan to get out of where you're at. My plan, I had a bug-in plan where I was at, but it wasn't the best bug-in location because the population was exploding around there. I was only 26 miles from Browns Ferry. I'm now hundreds of miles from this nuclear power plant. I don't have a big military base sitting right under my rear end like I had Redstone Arsenal, which developed the ATACMS missile. You can see older videos of me with attacking missile launcher right behind me. I did several videos on an attack a missile launcher from Redstone Arsenal and some other military assets. And I do have access to I can drive on the Redstone Arsenal. Yeah, I got access to Redstone Arsenal. So guys, there is a lot of challenges that we're facing right now. And it could go nuclear. It could happen. And it could happen in the blink of an eye. These things can surprise us because everything is escalating. Now, there is some chance that Trump will force Zelensky into a negotiation with Putin, and Zelensky seems to acknowledge that now. So maybe if the world stays glued together on the 20th of January, we got big hope in that theater, but it doesn't mean that we have hope in the theater with respect to China. Now, Trump will pull every option. Trump's a negotiator. If he can do anything, he's one of the best negotiators there is. I mean, he's a dealer. He knows how to, The Art of the Deal was the name of his book. He wrote decades ago. Made him famous. He knows how to wheel and deal. And he will use leverage to try to get what we need out of our adversaries and allies. And that's why he's talking about withdrawing from NATO. And from the votes that you guys have put in here in the past, I think you would be very much in favor of us getting the heck out of NATO. So, there we are. All right, somebody says, living off-grid for a decade, preparing for it to hit the fan. Well, Pony B, you're ahead of the crowd. Civil defense prepping. Big fire in Cali. Oh. I don't know about the fire. Hey, Arnold, how you doing? All right, China and Iran, keep watching. Amen. So Iran lost a lot of ground, too, with this loss of Syria. So Iran may be more desperate. So, but it may give an upside to this is what Israel's wanted. This is why we were going out after Al-Assad in the first place. Israel's always wanted, in case they've had a war with Iran, not to have to worry about Syria on their flank. Also, here's another military implication. With Syria not supporting Iran, and HTS is a Sunni organization, very Sunni. They're anti Iranian. I'm getting brain locked again. So they're anti-Iran. So guys, what this means is that the Hezbollah in Lebanon is not going to have the logistics going to them that they used to have. They're going to be cut off. So this all serves Israel quite well. Israel wanted to eliminate the threat to their left flank as they face Iran. And so this makes potentially a war between Israel and Iran more likely. Doesn't mean it will happen, but it does increase the likelihood. This is what Israel has been pushing for really in a long time. That's why American strategy has supported that. From mainly the Democratic Party has been a big promoter of that. You might remember Hillary Rodham Clinton was very anti-Syria. So, but Al-Assad, the former president of Syria, protected the Christian population in Syria. But in case you didn't know, there used to be 1.5 million Christians in Syria, which was 10% of the population. That number is now down to 300,000. And their future is very much in doubt, as other Muslim groups in Syria, which are probably the Alawites and the Druze Muslims. They're all a little bit concerned that the Sunnis, the HTS group, is taking over. So the Shia, which is the Iranian version of their sect of Islam, is totally out of favor with HTS. So we'll just see how all this plays out, guys. It doesn't mean the mayhem's over. President Biden was talking about, it was justice served that this guy was, Al-Assad was taken up because of all the atrocities he committed against his own citizens. Theoretically, a lot of people believe that all this stuff that Al-Assad was accused of was actually done by U.S.-sponsored forces. The attacks, the chemicals. So, by the way, we have bombed, the United States has actually attacked Damascus. We have actually bombed, I believe, chemical weapons systems there. So the United States and Israel both have done some strikes. So what does all this mean, guys? It's very unsettling. There's still a lot to come out, guys. So just be ready. Right now, it's still time to prep. We got to be ready for international stress. We got to be ready for World War III and Civil War here in the United States, because the left is not going to take well the takeover of the T-Man. And furthermore, the deep state is shaking in their boots. And in the past, just talking bad about the deep state was not necessarily good for the health of a sitting president. Ike knew that. He waited until he was leaving office to talk about him, the military-industrial complex. So he wasn't any more considered a real threat, but he gave us a warning. Next president did it while he was still in office. I don't know why, but for some reason, things didn't turn out too well for the next president, did it? Anyway, the super volcano in Italy, Campi Flegrei, could be a target. Yeah, it could be. It's on the verge of going off anyway. Super volcano like that going off could really throw our climate, guys, into a cold. We could have summers without. We could have frost in the summers. We could lose crops, major crop damage. So just like happened in 1817 after Tambora went off in Indonesia. There's plenty of reasons to prep, guys. There's lots and lots of reasons to be prepping. And if you're not prepping right now, what are you doing? We got a super volcano in Italy on the verge. We've got World War III on the verge, Civil War on the verge. Guys, we're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. Get ready. Be prepared. Have your places selected to go. Start forming communities. Go to survivalgridnetwork.com. And look on there. That was set up by our member Wise Owl at great expense out of our pocket because we were trying to form survival tribes. Guys, there's no more time to waste. Look, I'm taking it serious. I'm out here in the middle of the desert in cold weather trying to live out of a van while I'm building my tiny home here just because I am taking this serious. You need to take this serious too. You need to weigh your options and do whatever you can. Everybody can't do the same thing. You take Canadian Prepper, he's hiring big crews and building big greenhouses and using big expensive equipment and building a nice place up in the middle of remote areas in Canada, and more power to him. I don't have that kind of money and resources. I can't do that kind of stuff. I have to scratch by and do the best I can. But whatever you can do, even if it's just an extra can of beans, if you can buy an extra can of beans every week when you go to the grocery store, you are incrementally getting ahead. Keep your gas tank full. Have knowledge. I can't take knowledge away from you. Learn wild edibles. I used to do a lot of videos on that and may return to that once I learn the flora growing around here. So there's a lot for me to learn about the plants that live in this area. The whole world's broke. It's not worth fixing. Says New Days. Well, we got a chance to the T-Man and the big transformations are trying to put into effect. Maybe they can make things better, but fixing the whole world, no. And that's the whole problem with the United States trying to play the world's policeman. It's cost us too much money. Why should we be the world's policeman? Why should we be the world's policeman anymore? So we need to really think about that. I don't know why the signal's lost. Maybe my Wi-Fi jumped out or something. I did kind of bump my antenna when I was messing with the generator. Oh yeah. So why am I wearing Pennzoil 5W30? How is it you don't change the oil in your generator? Well, I had a hard problem. Actually I was running a little late for changing out generators. I usually did it around midnight and noon. And one of my generators actually ran out of fuel. I went out there and I tried to crank the other up. I didn't want to crank it first. And when I got to crank it didn't sound too good at first. I'm going, I should have changed oil in it Sunday. Well, technically it's Monday, and then Tuesday I missed it by a day or two, but maybe I need to look at this oil. And I know that oil's under pressure. I knew that. I'm no dummy. That I do know, but I thought, I might be able to just take the cap off real fast and look at it and put it back in. The little cap that goes in the oil reserve. It's got that little stick on it, and your generators. Guys, I knew it would be under pressure. I knew it might blow oil, but boy, it really blew the oil out. It blew it on my clothes, on my face, and my hair, on my beard, my jacket. I think my knit cap got oil in it. A good bit. it blew most of the oil out like, right off the bat. And so, only have, all right, yeah, don't go over there. So, just want to get on my sleeping bag. He will not want to lay it out. He'll probably sleep on my feet. Guys, I basically, instead of having to use the wrench to pull the drain plug out from the bottom, which I was debating going to find a wrench, I saved myself that step. Oh, I wound up putting most of a quart of oil in there, about 7/8 of a quart. There was probably about an eighth left. I mean, as soon as it started blowing, I tried to put the cap back on. The pressure was too high. I couldn't get it in there or to screw in the threads, so I just killed the generator and started over. It's like, oh my God. She's running good now, seems to be. She's not making any racket. Yeah, but she started, it didn't smell right, didn't sound right. I thought, I need to check this. Maybe it was just cold. I'm trying to warm up. Survival Tribe Network, thank you for posting that, New Days. People really, really take this seriously now. Go there. Wise Owl spent a lot of money setting this website up, out of her own pocket, for the good of you guys. And not a lot of people are taking advantage of it, in spite of all the junk going on today. A lot of you guys just like to listen to people talking about prepping, but your actual prepping seems to be a little short, guys. You need to get ready. Do whatever you can. Just be advised that when you do form a group with other people. So what that enables you to do is find people in your area. You join it, but you don't give them your exact address. You come up with something. All you need to all people already know, are you in the general area? And then y'all can meet somewhere, third-party locations, a restaurant, coffee shop, and start getting acquainted. But going into a group is kind of like getting married. Really know and vet the people you're getting involved in. That's my main advice on that. But you can't. Surviving alone is very risky. Thank you for posting the Freedom Restoration Foundation website. There's good contact information, how to contact your Congress critters. They're still somewhat receptive so far, so you can have effect on legislation. I've had effect on legislation myself in the past, beyond imagination. So you'll be surprised what some contacts and things like that can do. So use these things to your advantage while they're still available, while we still have some resemblance of a republic. Hopefully with the T-Man coming in, that'll last a little long. Ring rigs, you have new mailing address on your driver's license, Taylor, soon. I'm going to get a Sholo address on my driver's license, so nobody knows exactly where I'm at. I just set the address up. I have not got the new driver's license yet. I need to go do that. But I haven't done an actual physical mailing address change from Alabama yet. I meant to do that before I left, and I got in such a hurry. My post office, my country post office, up there's got short hours, so I just missed it. So, Arnold, I don't remember your email off the top of my head, but I still have used the P.O. Box 237. If you want to send me something physically, you can still use P.O. Box 237. If you want to ship something big, though, that doesn't use a post office, I'll have to give you that other address. Anyway, Chaith Health Night. Hey, how you doing there? Gang members are notifying if you have hydraulics. So what does gang members care about hydraulics for? That's the other thing. The Trinity de Agra, that Venezuelan gang, they're saying a lot worse and more prevalent than thought. And so getting them out of the country is going to be a bear. It just goes to show what the Democrats would do to try to throw elections. Let anybody and everybody get in. Wasn't checking for disease, criminal backgrounds, terrorists. Just let everybody in. Open the borders as wide as possible and open the floodgates, trying to change the demographics of this country. It's interesting, though, that there was a huge increase in support for the T-Man from the Hispanic community. Because the regular Hispanic Americans, they don't want no part of this. They're sick of this stuff, just as you and I are. NAZ, can you have your P.O. box as an address? You got to have a physical street address, but I got one of those too. So it's up in Sholo, up, at the border between the real thick junipers and the tall pine forest. The pine forest starts right at the edge of Sholo. So, in fact, pretty much the Deuce of Clubs, the road there, seems to be kind of the border. The whole place is named after a card game, but that's another story. So the way not to change oil, don't try to empty your oil by opening the dipstick. You will blow it out, and you will put new oil in. So that's a quick and dirty way to change it, but it's especially heavy on the dirty end of that, because you can be wearing that oil, as I am right now. All right, our border czar is not working. Well, when did she? When did she? She ran for president, though. Oh my gosh. Based on her great success, the Western Union doesn't work that way, Greg. Well, if you want to send stuff, you can still use a Walmart at Taylor, just as before, Arnold, if that's what you're trying to do. Walmart at Taylor. So appreciate it. Oh, by the way, Chewy Weather gave me a great gift. He sent me a little chainsaw, a tiny little chainsaw. It's electric powered, and the whole blade isn't, much longer than my hand. But, for quick and dirty cutting stuff, it won't be like lugging around a big Stiller Echo. And I got a Stiller Echo. Moldovan, not Moldovia. Okay, sorry, Christina, Moldovan. She didn't run. She was placed in there. Oh, yeah, well, there's that. Nobody voted for in primaries. In the previous primary that she ran in the previous election, she came in dead last. Imagine that. Where am I? I am in the high desert of Arizona. And last time before I started this video, when I checked, the temperature was 17. It's going down to 12 degrees Fahrenheit tonight and 9 tomorrow. Yes, it gets cold in Arizona, at least northern Arizona. Think of Arizona like a refrigerator. There's the freezer part, and there's the regular part. That's hot down there in the south. But up here, we're up in the freezer. This altitude looks cozy. Well, I'm sitting here in my little red van, little 2003 Town and Country. It's dusty, dirty, and gritty. I'm out here in the desert, and this dust gets in everything. I got clothes hanging up. We're just driving around here. It all just gets coated in dust. So living out of a van is interesting, but it's challenging. I need this in van living videos, guys. Did you feel the earthquake? No, Arnold. I did not feel the earthquake here in California. All right. Are you part of any mailing group for starting seeds? No, I'm not. That would probably be advisable. I do have a lot of seed that I'm transplanting out here. I'm bringing some garlic and turmeric. I got them on my flatbed trailer, but it's still in Alabama. And the vehicle I was hoping to get fixed to bring that trailer back is still under repair. I may have a couple other options, including I just got candy working here. I've done a little repair on the steering and brakes for my blue truck, but I can't afford to drive it back to Alabama. It would cost me over $1,400, $1,500 in gas just to drive it there and back. Fuel. It'll pull anything, but holy smoke, she burns the fuel. True Leaf Market brings you a great selection. Thank you, New Days. And I see New Days is a good example for mod, and she posts links to my affiliate sites. So, guys, True Leaf Market, I get a fair little commission. It don't cost you any more than if you went to the website on your own. I know a lot of people are going to My Patriot Supply. They're just going to the website straight and buying stuff. Some of you guys have told me you've done that quite a bit. Well, really? Use my links. You will not pay a penny more. You might even get a discount. In fact, when you go to prepwithgreg.com, I think there are discounts available. Prepwithgreg.com to go to True Leaf Market. Not True Leaf Market, but go to My Patriot Supply. And I get a little bit out of that. I get a little bit when you go to True Leaf Market, but you got to use the websites that New Days says. That's my affiliate website. Now, there's another affiliate I'm associated with, but in a little different manner. That is Defy the Grid. Defy the Grid sells gold and silver. Now, I got the smallest commission on them by far with any other affiliate link. And I thought at first, is this really worth bothering? 1% commission? That's like nothing. Guys, that's what people are buying right now. They're buying gold and silver. That has been the most profitable to me of all my links. It's not a special link. You just go to their website. But what you do is use the coupon code GreenGregs. I only get 1%, but that's what you get off too. If you use the coupon code GreenGregs, you get 1% off. And I get 1%. Now, people are really going there and buying the gold backs. They're buying silver. They're buying gold and bullion and coins and rounds, and they're doing so in quantity. because I'm getting more commissions from that than everything else combined, even though it's just the smallest percentage. Because right now, gold is falling down just a little bit. It was $2,785 an ounce, and now it's $2,666 or something like that an ounce. Yeah, it sounds devilish, doesn't it? But it's down. You don't buy. You don't really want to buy at the peak. You want to buy when things go down a little bit, in the hopes that it'll go back higher. So this is a good inflection point to consider. I'm not a financial advisor. There's always risk in buying anything. Prices could fluctuate, especially like Bitcoin. Bitcoin has really gone to the moon lately. So who knows? I'm not a fan of Bitcoin. I don't promote it because if the grid goes down, what are you going to do with Bitcoin? Nothing. You got nothing. It's the same with just all your money in the bank. Money in the bank is basically gone when the grid down. You don't have no money. You don't have an account. Accounts are electronic. Without power, nothing electronic works, guys. Nothing. You got to keep that in mind. Way the heck down under. Way the heck down under. Good to see you from Australia. Goldbacks. There you go. So use that link that New Days is showing you there. So that's a good link to go to. Possibly made from minced possum. Whoa, Brewster, what are we talking about there, Brian? Minced possum? We talking about spam? I thought spam must be an animal. When I was in the National Guard and we went to Camp Shelby, I was sure that was their native range, and that the guard head cook was a expert spam hunter, because boy, they served spam all the time. it was spam on spam. Anyway, thought True Leaf Market was too high on seeds until I ordered from another company, and half the seeds didn't even germinate. Yeah, that's one thing True Leaf Market does. They give you guarantees on their seeds, the germination, and then you can also go to, you got a link for Eden Brothers also. Maybe New Days put that up. You can go look at some of my older videos, the ones I post instead of my live sessions, and recent live sessions especially, because I'm not here with my computer and everything set up to do all the processing I typically do with videos. So you don't see the fancy thumbnails. You're not seeing the links been posted other than what New Days is putting in the chat room. So I appreciate that, New Days. New Zealand, not Australia. Oh, you okay, Brian? Pardon me. You are way down under. New Zealand. Anyway, that's good. I have friends in Arizona. Phoenix area back in 2019 was warmed water would run out of the area a handful of years. Eden Brothers. There's a link to Eden Brothers. Ace Lee's here. Okay, very good. Ace is the place. We got Ace Lee in the house. Anyway. Okay, gold. Yeah, I may start another website and call it Gold Greg's, just to promote that coupon code. It actually does really well. This is an early hour. Yeah, I gotta end here, guys. We've been going for an hour and 3 minutes, a bit longer than I meant to go. Hardware store, yeah. Oh, hey, Ace Lee, how you doing? Ace, you in Singapore? Alrighty, folks. Everybody, tell us where you're from, real quick. We're gonna call it a night. Me and the kitty here. And Freddy Cat. So, California, says Christina. Texas, Northwest Florida, keep it in nose prepper. Hey, that's almost like Lower Alabama. And the Panhandle. Down under, Gabby B. The Real McCoy, Maryland. Gold Greg's has a metallic ring to it. Look, Green Greg's, Gold Greg's, Galactic Greg's. I like alliteration. Louisiana. Bama, baby. Hey, Nashville. Hoba. Okay. We got Okinawa, Japan. Well, hey, Daddy Tube. Okinawa. They will love your cat. All right. Texas. Bisbane, Australia. All right. Pickleberry Miss. That's a good name. Cold. All right. Jacob Dan is cold. Got it. Perryman Basin, Texas. We had an earthquake around Rangeley this morning, 2.4. Wow. East Coast. There's talk about some possible geologic activity in the Northeast, even a volcanic hotspot around the New England area. If y'all didn't know about that. Snuggle Kitty, keep warm. Cold Carolina. Okay, Jacob. Auckland, New Zealand. All right, Brian. The joker this morning for you, Greg, or late night. I gotta turn in because I gotta get up in a couple hours. Anyway, South Carolina, -3C here in western Alberta. All right, Arnold. So last time I checked an hour ago, it was 17 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which is well below the freezing point. Going down to 12 tonight and 9 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow night. Stan the man. Sasquatch, yeah. Good to see you, Sasquatch. Sasquatch Moon. Have a good night. Alrighty, folks. Hey, I want to thank you, everybody who's contributed. I know we got a super chat in here. I'm expecting probably got some on PayPal with Michelle. So salute to all you super chatters. Salute to you mods. You've been doing a good job keeping links posted and reminding people to stay civil in here and keep the language clean. So I appreciate you mods. And thank you everybody for watching. Just remember, right now you got more reason to prep than probably ever. Get ready. Please, everyone, take care of yourselves. Get ready. Be prepared as best as you can. We can't all do it the same way. We all have different circumstances, but do whatever you can. Even if it's just knowledge. Watch my videos on wild edibles and things like that. Watch videos on how to survive. But do whatever you can, guys. It's tough when it gets tough. Stay warm, Greg. Much love. Thank you, Tim. City Man, Knight. Thank you for all the information. So, all right, guys. Once again, thank you all for being. The platform don't favor me, guys. I've had a lot of people getting unsubscribed. A lot of people don't get notifications. So please send this out. Put it in your social media. You'll go through my videos, especially the nuclear survival ones. And a lot of these videos I've got about survival and gardening, worm farming in the past. That's vital information. You need to take those links, search those videos, watch them, take the links, and post them on your social media. That's all good information that people need today. So, nugs and kibbles. Yep, need kibbles to feed them nugs. Make sure you're well equipped there. Oh, New Mexico, April, you're a neighbor. All right, everyone. To one and all, a good night. And ho, ho, ho. Greg out.